What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and I'm back. Shout out to everybody. Sheep Stay Sleep TV, Sheep Stay Sleep Live, Sheep Stay Sleep Radio, however you want to, you know, however you want to quote it. But welcome back to Sheep Stay Sleep TV. I'm your host, DS1 Ross. And tonight, y'all, got a nice little quick stream. It won't be too short, but it won't be too long. No, I don't want to hold y'all too long, know people got to work tomorrow and stuff like that. So tonight we're going to talk about philosophy versus practicality. Philosophy versus practicality. And what made me come up with this subject is because I noticed a lot of us men, and I'm speaking about the men, a lot of us here on this YouTube thing is really caught up in debating. We're really caught up in debating and arguing over shit that it's really not that important. And when I say it's not that important is if it's not being applied in real time where things is actually moving for you, then it's just something you're philosophizing. And I've noticed over the past few months, a lot of us, not to knock anybody platform or what anybody's doing, because to each his own. This is Sheep Stay Sleep TV. We allow the sheep to stay sleep. But I noticed it's this big argument over if we're indigenous, we're not African, we're not this, we're that, we're this. But see, my whole thing is all the things that we're arguing about, why isn't it being exercised in real time? If all these things are so factual and it's so pertinent to our success, then why I don't see any successful people being shown? A lot of things that we sit on this YouTube thing and talk about and think is cool. It's really just us sitting around talking about some shit besides football and the simple male stuff that we like to sit around and talk about, which is cool. Because I don't just sit around, I don't just sit around and talk about, nonsense myself. But I really think that it's time for us men to get out of philosophizing everything. Stop making everything into a conspiracy theory. Because if we're not arguing on this YouTube about if we're not African or indigenous, we're arguing about a flat earth theory. We're arguing about feminism. It's always something that us men are just sitting around philosophizing. But what are we actually doing? And when I say that, the things that we're talking about, are we applying them so it can materialize? How is being indigenous materializing for us? What is it actually doing? Or is it just something you want to know about yourself? It's cool to know yourself. It's nothing wrong with understanding who you are, understanding where your people came from, understanding your lineage, your bloodline. It's nothing wrong with that. But what is that doing for you in real time? You see, what is it actually What is the action? What is the results? You know? And I think as men, we need to sit around and take the conversation a step further. Let's get out of philosophizing and theorizing everything. Everything is not a goddamn theory. Let's start proving these theories by showing. Because you can be whatever you want to be in America. They tell you that in the commercial. You can be whatever you want to be in the United States of America, long as you operating as a business. And see, that's what I think is not being talked about when we're talking about this indigenous stuff, and how we're not black and we're not this and we're not that. Okay, cool. If we're not those things and we are what you say we are, how is that going to help us? Is that going to get us out of poverty? Is that going to help us? Is that going to provide food, clothing, and shelter for us? Are those things going to help us have healthier relationships with the people that's around us? Practicality. Let's put these things into practice and then see if it works. Because a theory has to be tested, or it just remains a theory. And that's what I see a lot going on, man. It's just a bunch of philosophizing, wanting to sound deep, wanting to sound smart. It's an ego match. And how I can really tell that it's just an ego match is because when somebody's proven wrong or somebody can't, respond to a point, the men get disrespectful with each other. And that's an issue. That's an issue within itself that's not being talked about. And this is why I say, I asked the question, for one, are these debates helping us progress on our journey? Are these debates helping us or are they hurting us? Is it helping us or is it hurting us? Because from these conversations, all I see is destruction. I don't see, you know, any further communication being going on. I don't hear anything being built outside of these conversations. So is it giving us progress or is it stagnating us? We have to ask ourselves this, family.
You don't want to camp in the playground.
All right, I bet.
You don't want to camp in. What day we are camp?
I'll let you know. Daddy's doing the show, okay? Good night, and I'll see you in the morning, all right?
Good night. See you in the morning. Good night. I like this day.
Hold on,
see you in
y'all.
the morning.
Yeah, I'm back, y'all. My bad. That was my son telling me good night. But is it really helping us as men? Because, and shout out to Elm City. I really respect I really respect her passion when it comes to talking about black men. You know, a lot of people feel like she be down in black men, but I feel like she really honestly and earnestly want us to do better, you know? And this is the type of stuff I think she be talking about. Us just sitting on YouTube arguing and having ego matches with each other. That's not materializing into anything but destruction. That's gonna make a brother hate another brother. You see? And this is what debates create, especially dysfunctional debates. This is why I don't have debates on my platform. You cannot come on my platform and debate because it leads to nothing. It leads to somebody just thinking they smarter than somebody else, thinking they better than somebody else, when there actually isn't. I believe that a lot of these debates are keeping us stagnant. A lot of these theories and these topics that we're talking about is keeping us stagnated. We need to change the narrative. And the way we change the narrative, we have to first change the topic of conversation. Let's talk about things that we can implement in real time. And this is why I say we have to heal before we build. Because by us cleansing ourselves, our minds, then it will give us a chance to see things clear. Then you will want to have the correct type of debate or the correct type of conversation. Because all of this indigenous stuff that people running around talking about, it's just all talk. It's all talk. All of this stuff about being a Moor and all of this stuff, it's all talk. It's theory. It's theory. Because if the government is not respecting what you're doing, then what does it matter? If you still operating under your social security number, if you still going to work every day for somebody else, you still caught up in the same system, then none of that stuff really matters in real time. It's just something you could philosophize. And we need to get out of that, especially us black men. We need to get out of just sitting around philosophizing. Let's actually do stuff. Salute to the gods and the earths, because that's how I learned about what the numbers represent. One representing knowledge, two representing wisdom. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. We must to begin to apply what we know. And we're not applying what we know. We just sitting around talking about how much stuff we know. I know more than you. I'm smarter than you. I know more than you, so I'm more of a man than you. This is the stuff that's being talked about. But nothing's getting done. Nothing is getting done. As a whole, black men are still in a messed up position. And it's because we don't want to be practical. We don't want to focus on that. We need to work together to get things done as a collective for our families. We want to stay in that realm of just sitting around, being ego giants. And we're judging each other's manhood by our egos, how big our egos are, how much we think we know. You know, I know everybody here this, if you knew better, you do better. There's a lot of us sitting on here philosophizing all this stuff, but we still in bad predicaments. We still need a lot of help. This is why we need to focus on being practical so we can begin to help ourselves the way we want to, so we could begin to help our families the way we want to, Black men. Let's be practical. Let's not philosophize our whole goddamn lives. We don't have time for that. We do not have time to sit around and philosophize every goddamn thing. We're not in ancient times. We're in a capitalist society where business rules. Business. Can we turn our philosophy into a business? Why don't we focus on that, men, and not focus on who read the most books so we think we know more than somebody? We too caught up in mental masturbation because that's what it is. Mental masturbation. Where's the practice? See, that's how you convince me. And I'm into philosophy because I like to listen to deep shit. You know, it's cool. It's cool to understand deep concepts. Trust me, I'm into all of that. But as my awareness grew, I knew that I couldn't stay in that space because I have people counting on me, and I also have people that watch me too. There's a group of young dudes from my neighborhood that want to see me doing well. Because see, one thing with the youth, they want to see shit. You're not gonna come up to them talking this indigenous, this indigenous stuff or any of this conscious stuff if you don't got your shit straight on certain levels. You can't be telling them about a system that's wicked and all that, and you ain't got no money. You don't even have the simple things that they like to do. You sitting around looking for a handout still. They don't want to hear people like that. They want to see your stuff materialize from the spiritual to the physical. It must materialize. Why I don't see any indigenous businesses being built? If we so indigenous, if we so African, whatever you claim to be, let's start to make things materialize for ourselves. Let's make our wisdom understanding. That's number 3, understanding. Because then people will understand why you know what you know and why it's important for other people to understand or to know what you know. Because then they see the result. Because the result of applying knowledge is understanding. And once you understand what you have applied, that creates culture. And that's what we lack. And this is why we sit around and philosophize about indigenous, about African, about Israelite, about all of this stuff, because we've lost our culture. So we're trying to get back to a culture that we already lived. It's time to create a new culture. And the new culture we live in today is called hip hop. It's called hip hop. You see? And we complain about that culture. So how about the minds of this generation come together and start to create a new wave so we can create a new culture? Let's do that, family. That's more important than sitting around acting like we know more than each other. That shit is whack, man. I don't understand how men can do that. Because to me, it's like y'all trying to size each other up. That's what it sounds like. Because nothing is actually being done after these conversations are had. At least back in ancient times, the philosophers sat around and philosophized and then went and wrote books. If you believe in something so strong, do something about it. At least write a book. Write a pamphlet at least. Start out with a pamphlet. Give it away to people. See what type of impact it makes. Do something practical is my point. Let's do something practical. Let's get out of our minds. Let's get out of our heads. It's not about us just living in our heads, because that's a form of mental masturbation. And mental masturbation keeps us stagnant. It's not helping us progress. It's not helping us progress. And these things are keeping us from establishing true brotherhood. And see, brotherhood helps the men that's around you. It gives them hope. See, that's what the Masonic lodges and all that stuff is really about, y'all. It's about creating a brotherhood and having brothers around you that can help you. You need a job, brother? Okay, I'm going to send you here. Oh, this what you know how to do? You have a skill? Well, this brother over here is a carpenter, and he can have you do this at his store. That's all that Mason stuff is. It's a network of people that can help you progress in life. That's why if you notice the Eastern Stars, I believe they get a lot more stuff done, because the women are not caught up in ego, not as much as the men. I know they had a little catty stuff, but that's for them. They need to speak on that. I'm dealing with the men and brotherhood. And what affects brotherhood is the male ego. I'm flyer than you. I got more money than you. I have more sex than you. My gun bigger than yours. This stuff is keeping us stagnant. Let's become practical, men. Let's turn our philosophies into action, into an operation. If you feel so strong about it, all of you guys who are indigenous, come together, create something tangible. That's more important than anything. Creating something tangible. Like Jadakiss said, my kids can't eat those plaques. Meaning it's cool to have these accolades, but my child can't eat an award. So what he's saying is, how is it going to materialize into something tangible? Let's stop smoking, smoking 15 blunts and sitting around having these quote unquote deep conversations. And then after that, you high off the fact that you shut somebody down in a conversation. That's so low level, because all you doing is feeding your ego. You see, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You see, I got all the answers. I got all the answers. But do you have the answers to your immediate situation? Do you have the answers to that? You get up and go into a job you hate every day. Can you change that? Can your philosophy help you change that? That's what we need to be talking about. How are we going to navigate through this matrix? Because even if you own your own business, even if you work for yourself, you still shop at the supermarket. You still got a cell phone. You still got Wi-Fi. You still got cable. This is a matrix. So we need to have conversations about how can we properly and effectively move through this matrix without losing our minds or without compromising a part of ourselves. That's what we need to be talking about, men. Is this conversation going to help us navigate through the matrix? Because if it isn't, guess what? It's irrelevant. And when I say it's irrelevant, it's not irrelevant to you personally, but to the progress of Black men, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. And that's what we need to be focused on. Stop having these moot arguments. Because there's women looking at us, men. Like, look at these dudes. They back at it again. Arguing. So now if we ain't arguing over who won the football game, we not arguing over who won last night basketball game. If we ain't arguing who's the better rapper, now we arguing about if we're indigenous, if we're not from Africa. Should we practice religion? This is what we've become. Philosophers, new age philosophers. Why you think they call all this information new age? Go to Barnes and Nobles, you find all of this metaphysics stuff in the new age section, not the old age, the new age. Because what the government has co-opted is they've set the environment up to where you start having these same arguments over and over and over. See, half of my family is from the Nation of Islam. So I've knew about the flat earth theory since I was little. They've been taught us that they tried to teach us the world was flat. So this is why I don't even listen to that type of crap. We're living on a plane. We're not living on a flat earth. We're living on a plane, a dimension, the third dimension, earth. This is why I love the Marvel movies, because they make correlations with stuff like this. You see? So a lot of these philosophies that we sitting around talking about was already argued millions of years ago, thousands of years ago, from other philosophers. That's what we have to understand. So while we sitting around philosophizing about some old bull crap, the world is moving. We're missing a whole lot of stuff. because we're not focused on what we need to be focused on. You know? And this is why I, I'm I really start to understand the frustration of our women, because we're not focused on what we need to be focused on, men. We're not. If the most important thing is our family, then we need to be having conversations about doing practical things to help our families. Every conversation should be based on navigating through this matrix so we can help our families do better and feel better. That's all we need to be focused on at this point. And what are we going to do? Because I believe if all the guys who felt they were indigenous, if all the guys who felt they were African, if all of them just split up and came together with their like minds, something can actually be built. But they're just coming together to argue and mentally masturbate. That's what they're coming together to do. And this is why it leads to nothing. Because you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and go right back into that job you hate, which is ran by somebody who you're claiming to be your open enemy, to be your beast, and all of this stuff. How are you going to try to get away from that? How can you maneuver away from that and still be the person you want to be? That's what needs to be talked about. Who cares if the earth is flat or round? What does that matter in real time when you got to pay your goddamn light bill? When you got to pay your Wi-Fi bill? What does all that matter? What does it matter if you're an atheist? What does it matter if you're a Christian, a Muslim, an Israelite, Kemetic? None of that shit matters. Because at the end of the day, you going to do the same thing that the person you banging on, they doing the same thing you do. They living life and paying bills. So does it matter if your ass from Kemet, but you in America paying your light bill to Con Ed? Does that really matter? And no matter what you claim to be, you still gonna have to pay for your lights. Does that stuff really matter? And like I said, I'm not telling people what they should be talking about, but let's be practical. Let's make something happen. Let's make something happen. Let's start small. All the like minds should come together and do something practical. Look at all of these people who come together. It's been separated. Look at the flat earth crew. Dismantled. Why? Because they were a bunch of mental masturbators. They weren't doing nothing with that information. They weren't creating nothing with that information. They were mental masturbators. They were a bunch of nerdy dudes who came online and wanted to sound smarter than cool guys. Because see, that's what nerds do too. Nerds get together and start philosophizing about theories so they can sound smarter than the guy who they think they're smarter than. And then maybe girls will like them. See, I know how to read through a lot of stuff. You see? But in real time, what did these flat earthers on YouTube create but a YouTube channel? What did they create outside of YouTube? for flat earthers? Nothing. I just found out B.O.B. He's a multi-millionaire. He's a flat earther. So maybe if y'all actually had something going on, y'all could have got the attention of a multi-millionaire and maybe got something sponsored and maybe got something really done. But no, y'all just want to sit around and act like y'all know more than people who believe the earth is round. But you still follow the same circle of time every day, but the earth is flat. So at the end of the day, where's this getting us? What is it doing for us, family? That's what we need to start questioning ourselves when we listen to these people speak on these platforms. Now, I know sometimes people just want to hear and just listen. There's nothing wrong with that. Because even I listen, but I listen a different way. I don't listen for entertainment. If I want to be entertained, I could go watch World Star. And that's what this indigenous arguments and stuff is coming to. It's becoming entertaining. See, once something becomes clickbait, you can't take it as serious no more because then it becomes watered down. You see? The things that are clickbait are things that are watered down or have been watered down because you got 200 videos about it. There's no potency in the discussion anymore. Now it becomes a showdown, a face-off. That's entertainment. That's entertainment. You see? So we have to stop falling for shit like this. Because then we wonder why we not getting that much respect from our women. Because we sitting around philosophizing everything, thinking it's cool to just sit around and mentally masturbate to one another. That's whack. But when you start talking about, yo, let's do this, yo, let's invest in that. Oh, he a scammer. Oh, he about to take somebody money. See? Then that's when people want to come and try to shut you down, or they don't want to support you. Because now you're doing something that can be tangible. You see? Shout out to my man, Uncle Shug. Sometime he get on and do videos with him in the gym working out. He got videos with his children making smoothies, eating healthy. You know what he has done? He has materialized his thoughts and compiled it into a book. So y'all need to support his GoFundMe. Even if you don't have money right now, share it. Because he's made his wisdom into understanding. And now he's creating a culture for his family. His children eat healthy. You see, practicality, not just philosophy. Practical, showing it how it's done in real time. Demonstration, operation, not just philosophy, you know. And these same people who have these conversations, they sit around and do is, oh, all we do is talk, all we do is talk. What the hell y'all doing? Nothing is coming out of y'all conversations. The conversations are not motivational. They're leading nowhere. And that's the problem, y'all. We have to stop dwelling on things that's going to lead us nowhere. Because the worst thing you can do is remain stagnated in your mind. Stagnation is worse than failure. Because if you failed, that means you tried. That means you were moving. Stagnation means you're just sitting there. And that's what we're doing with these conversations, is keeping us stagnant. Men should not be sitting around speaking on things that's going to keep us stagnant. We need progressional thoughts. That's what's important. Practicality, being practical. What are you actually putting in play? And it starts with our mentality. It starts with the rescuing of our mind. And we have to understand that this is very important, because everything around us is to keep us stagnated in our thoughts. Be okay with going to work, eating McDonald's for lunch, using your cell phone on your break, smoking cigarettes. See, this is how the matrix was set up. Because when you're stagnant, or when you're operating in this matrix, then they can always see you and put a finger on you. But see, if your thoughts are not stagnant and your thoughts are progressional, you'll begin to make better moves. Then you won't take part in foolish conversations. Things that's not going to get you nowhere. Things that might get you a few likes and some views. But in real life, who want to hear you speak? See, that's what we need to be talking about. Can we take this conversation off of YouTube and present this to 50 children? How many of them will be asleep in your classroom? How many of them will walk out and say, I don't want to hear this? How many of them you will keep interested? See, we need to be thinking on that level. And I'm speaking to the men. We need to be thinking on that level. Because all I see is a bunch of men trying to impress men. I don't try to impress men. Never did. The only one who I wanted to prove something to was my father. And now who I'm living to prove something to is my children, my sons. Because I already proven myself to my dad. I did everything he asked me to do and more. But what we need to be focused on, men, is getting our women to respect us again as men. And see, if what I learned is, if a woman don't respect the way you think, she'll never respect the way you move. She has to respect your stance, what you stand on. Because that correlates with what you do and how you handle things. So the rise of this feminism stuff comes from women feeling like, since we always had to do everything, why should we stop now? And how about we get y'all niggas out our house? Because y'all don't want to stand on practicality. If the men are the leaders, then we can't lead with philosophy only. Our philosophy must be backed by our actions. And this is why today's show is philosophy versus practicality. Let's just start applying what we know, man. And let's start grouping up with like minds. Because I'm not against what anybody talk about, but I want to see results. Let's start producing the results. Let's start seeing our children growing to be stronger and more affluent people based on our philosophies. Because look at the Chinese, look at the Koreans, look at the Japs, the Japanese. Their philosophy created a culture, and they're doing a lot of things in real time. All our women go to the Koreans to get their hair. They have created an industry because their men think a certain way. Their women think a certain way, and they apply it. You have to stop being afraid of success. You have to stop being afraid to be who we say we want to be. And the way we do that is start being more practical. Let's start being more practical. Practicality is key because behind your philosophies has to come action. Because whatever you tell your children not to do or what they should not be doing, they're going to watch and see how you're putting things into play. They're going to watch you. I catch my sons even watching me. And this is why I check myself on a lot of things too. Because it's about practicality. If you don't want your children to make the same mistakes you made, you cannot still be making those mistakes. And if you are, use them as teaching moments right there on the spot for your child. That's what I do. Why keep making excuses? If we're the great old ones, if we're the almighty Imhotep, Amen Ra, if we're all of this, where's the pyramids now? Why they still building projects for us to live in? Why we not building pyramids to live in? If we got all the high science, huh? When I go to a construction site, you know who I see in New York City on construction sites? Mexicans, Puerto Ricans. And there are people, I know that. But we talk about the indigenous ones. Why they aren't the head foremans on the site? Why they aren't the ones, the project managers, the general contractors? We got all this high science. But all we doing it is to keep a goddamn heated argument on YouTube about it. When we need to be putting this high science into action, like our ancestors have done. They took their high sciences that they knew and created math formulas and created things. What are we doing? What are we doing? And this is not to challenge anyone. This is just to challenge our thinking. And this is the way you challenge your theory. Put it in real time. Put your theory in real time and see what it does for you. See what it does for you. And if you're not getting the answer to the math problem that you're looking for, then it's time to go back and reevaluate the theory. You see? That's what we need to do. Because we're too far behind. So we don't have time to sit around and have frivolous arguments with each other as men. It's bad enough we hate each other. It's bad enough we do. And we hate each other because it's always about a pissing match. Who can piss the furthest? Who could talk the flyest? Who could prove somebody wrong? Let's prove ourselves right for once. Let's do that. Let's do that. So philosophy versus practicality, y'all. I wanted to just come to y'all real quick and talk about this, man, because I feel like it definitely needed to be talked about. You know, here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV, this is what we do. We have the conversations that I feel like is important and that needs to be had. So I'm gonna throw the link out real quick. See who wanna come on and touch on this just a minute. You know it's 11 o'clock. So I'll probably stay on if anybody wanna come on, and I'll stay on maybe for like another half an hour and then I'll close out. But shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. I'm gonna do my shout outs. Shout out to everybody for always coming through and supporting your brother DS1 and Sheep Stay Sleep TV. You know, it's always a good thing, man. So shout out to my man Black Worlds. What it do, bro? I ain't see you in a minute. It's popping, bro. Megalodon, yee! Shout out to my Thiz brother. You know, shout out to the Bay. T-Duck, the Bay. I see you, homie. Shout out to Miss Black Beauty, the sweet lady of YouTube. Shout out to Mama Kiki. Shout out to my brother John Doe. Shout out to my brother Doug. Glad to see you back around. Shout out to my good brother Duran. Shout out to my brother Suge, No Sleep Enterprise. Make sure y'all go support my brother on his GoFundMe. He turned his wisdom into understanding and he's creating a book. Go and support that brother. Elm City, shout out to you, Truth Seeker. Shout out to Living Soul Journey. It's good to see you, as always. John Doe. Shout out to my brother John Doe. Shout out to my brother Zeus Flippy. Peace to the God. Know how we do, bro. Shout out to the OG D Red. What it do? Shout out to the H Town. Shout out to the wealthy Mama Rika. How you doing, sis? Always good to see you. Sue, what up? Shout out to Vegas. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to all my brothers out in Vegas, all my Arizona dudes, all my West Coast dudes, you know. Aisha Fit, shout out to you too. Welcome to Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everybody, man. So the link is in the chat. If anybody want to come on and join the conversation, you know, I'm gonna give it to 11:30, and then if anybody come on 11:30, we'll close out. Shout out to y'all, man. But yeah, man, practicality is key for us men. Practicality is key for us men. I understand we got philosophers and you know people play their role. That's cool. That's cool. But I'm more into practicality, I guess, because I'm a what they call it, a earth sign. I'm a Capricorn. So it's about what we do. We're practical. We have to show why 1+1 is 2. We have to show that. You know how when in math they tell you to show your work? That's how we into. That's just what we into. And I think all earth signs are like that. I think a lot of people are just like that, period. Because people want to get things done. You know? You can't just want to get out of things in your mind. Oh, I wanna I wanna pay back my student loans. You can't just want to do that but never make the proper moves to get things done. It has to get done or will never get done. Basically, what I'm saying is we can't live in our heads. We have to make things materialize. We have to make things manifest. And we like to call each other gods and goddesses. Well, gods manifest things. They make the spirit into the physical. Isn't that what childbirth is? Materializing energy, materializing your thoughts, because that's all your children is. The thoughts you and your lady had at the time when y'all was doing what y'all was doing. Semen is information. And you putting your information into a computer, which is your woman, which is her womb. That's what the matrix is all about. But there's certain things you have to do. But you won't know what to do until you understand how to properly think. And this is why I say we always got to heal before we build. Because if we don't, we will destroy anything we try to build. We'll always destroy it because we'll never see the importance of it. And we don't see the importance of things because we think it's all about our ego. See, when your ego is leading you, all you're gonna do is argue. You're gonna be running in place. It's like you're on a treadmill. You're running fast but going nowhere. So let's be more practical. Shout out to my brother Megalodon. Peace to you, good brother.
Peace to you, sir. Peace to you.
What's up, big bro?
Let me gotta
Shout out to
cut
my
this
brother
off real.
Megalodon. No doubt, no doubt. I got you. So whenever you ready, bro, just come through. But yeah, let's focus on this, man. Shout out to my brother Black Worlds. What's up, bro?
What's cracking? Tapping in. What's going on?
Coolin', man. Coolin', man. What you think of the topic, man?
I think it's a good topic, man. I really think it's a very good topic, man. A lot of people need to take, need to open their ears up and listen, man. That's the one thing about black people. We don't like to listen, man. You know what I'm saying? But we all need to listen. Good advice, you know. As long as you're giving out good advice, we need to listen.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
But we think we know everything, so it's hard for us to listen. Especially, when you got some people in the same age range, some people don't like to listen to that person because they feel that they know everything.
I mean, I agree with you, bro. I agree. And I think that's because we let our egos lead us, man. And it always leads us to self-destruction. A long time ago, when I used to go to church, um, I heard a pastor say, ego will be the death of you because ego is an acronym that stands for ease God out. So we like to call ourselves gods and goddesses here on YouTube, but we're leading with the ego, which is easing God out of ourselves. The God mind is not the ego. It's not egoic at all. So I think people really need to reevaluate a lot of things they like to call themselves and, just begin to understand what it is and what it takes, you know?
I agree. I agree. But like you said, though, it's gonna take a lot of healing, though. First, you know what I'm saying? And I hate to, I say this a lot, man. I think we still hurt from slavery. You know what I'm saying? I know it been a long time, but it still seems like we still hurting. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can't get out that hurt. So it just take a lot of healing first, like you said.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. And this is why I stress the fact of practicality because we have to do that inner work first. We definitely have to, do that inner work. And see, when I first came into, I'm gonna say conscious information. I'm not gonna say consciousness. I'm gonna say conscious information. In the beginning, when I started to learn a lot of things and started to challenge a lot of things that I thought I knew, and I started to see it's so much information out here that that's debunking everything that I thought, man. Man, I went around, trying to force feed people this information. And you know what I had to learn? And this is what made me come up with this whole aspect of sheep stay sleep. I realized that there's people that will never get it. And it's because their ego is controlling them. It's giving them life. The life that they live, that they see is important to them, is fed to them by their ego. Those are people you can't get through to, you know? Like these zealots we have on YouTube. You can't get through to those people because they think they already have it figured out. So it's the healing process for them may take generations. you know, and a lot of our people suffer with this. This is why for generations, you know, like the Bible say, it's sort of like a generational curse, because we've been dealing with the same stuff for generations after generations. Like, all we got to do is go and ask our grandparents, ask our parents, then ask their parents. And if their parents are still alive, ask them. And a lot of times you'll get the same answer. You know, it's just like if your great grandparents ate pork in slavery, and then their parents ate pork, and then their kids ate pork, then their kids ate pork, and it all leads back down to your parents feeding you swine. But it's up to you to challenge that at some point. But that takes a certain type of mindset. It takes a certain type of cleansing of the mind, to where it's like, damn, well, I don't want to eat that, you know? Or I learned that that stuff is not good for us to eat, and that we was forced to eat that because we didn't have nothing else.
That's facts. That's facts.
You know, but the ego is gonna block us from that, bro. And a lot of us don't see that. That's why we stuck in this philosophy, philosophizing everything.
Yeah, like I told my peoples, man, it's 2017, man, and we still stuck in the same situation. I mean, you just sit there and just sit there and look at it, man. It's 2017, and we still stuck in the same situation. I mean, god damn, like Mama Kiki said in the chat, man, we running out of time. You see what I'm saying? We ain't got too much time. We gonna have to do something, you know. But like you said, you was force feeding people information. What I learned is you're gonna have to give like black people like just a little bit. You see what I'm saying? You can't give them too much. You see what I'm saying? You gotta give them a little bit at a time. Because once you give them too much, that's what I'm learning. Because once you give them too much, they just gonna push you away. They don't want to, you know. It's hard to teach people, man. It's hard to teach grown folks. Because like you said, it seems like they think they know everything, but they don't. You see what I'm saying? But we running out of time, so our mind's gonna have to change sooner or later. You feel what I'm saying? Can't be stuck in the same boat. It's almost we close to 2020, man. We can't be stuck in the same boat.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. And that's why, I was saying, if even if people, even if people want to stay in a certain paradigm, how about they link up with those people in the same paradigm and create something? So if you think you indigenous, get with all the indigenous thinkers and create something for indigenous people. Why sit around and just argue on the internet? What the hell is that? Like, what? I don't understand. What is the point of doing that? Then it's like, if that's like I'm the type of person, I don't even like to have conversations with people if I know it's gonna lead to an argument. If it leads to an argument, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shut down. All right, man, whatever. That's me. Because it's like, then it's like we bouncing off the wall. There's no sense in that. I can't operate on that level.
That's facts. I agree with you 100%. 100%. But like you said, as far as like conversation wise, like you said, we gotta like connect with people that got the same mind, like you said. You see what I'm saying? And I think it's a lot of people, man, just got negative minds. So it's really hard to find that person with a positive mind. You feel what I'm saying? Because everybody with the negative mind talking about the same thing. You feel what I'm saying? Cars, jewelry, bitches, or what broad I fuck. I got this broad doing this, buying me this, and I'm doing this too. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys out here that I run into with the same type of conversation, man. It's like I can't even relate to that because I ain't on that type of stuff no more. You feel what I'm saying? Like taking advantage of people. Why are you talking to me about taking advantage of another person? You see what I'm saying? But that's the negativity that we got, man. We got to break out of that. But it's gonna be hard to break out of that because as long as we got this negative energy going around, that's what people feed into. Then when you speak positive energy to people, they just like they neglect it. You feel what I'm saying? They do it every day.
Exactly. Exactly. That's true. That's true. And see, people don't understand that whatever we focus on grows.
And let me say one more thing before I didn't mean to cut you off, but you notice when you talk to people about positivity, man, they look at you like you crazy. You ever had conversations like that to a person look at you like nigga, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I don't want to hear that
Facts.
stuff. That's how that facial expressions. It's like, man, nigga, I don't want to hear that, man. Man,
Facts.
what's up with the bitches, man? What's up with you know what I'm saying? Man, what's up with the
Right.
strip club, man? Niggas don't want to hear that, man, because we still, man, we mentally fucked up, man, straight up.
Exactly. Because because it like I was saying, people feel comfortable living from that space, and that's why I focus on the youth, man. I don't really delve into, you know, really speaking to grown-ups because I understand with the youth will listen, but you got to give them a reason to. And this is why I was saying brothers like us, me and us that's on the panel, the brothers that's in the chat, the sisters that's in the chat, we need to get together and formulate something and take these philosophies and bring them to the youth in real time and make it practical to them. So when we coming back to our old neighborhoods, our youth want to see, yo, how is this dude actually doing? Is this dude still, is he the bum on the corners dropping jewels? Because the youth don't want to be, jacked up. They don't want to live in poverty. They want to live good. But a lot of us call that materialism. It's not materialism because you want to live good, because you want to live in a mansion, because you want your children to grow up in the suburbs. Why is that materialism? Why isn't that something we should be striving for? If we're positive people, we should be living in positive environments. If we're wealthy in knowledge, why shouldn't we have wealth and finances? It correlates. As above, so below. As a man thinketh, shall he should be. So why are we having all of these rich thoughts, but we broke financially?
Well,
Where's
I mean,
the
well, it's one reason I kind of look at it. I think, I think we don't like to do business with each other. You know, as far as black people, we just don't like to do business with each other. You feel what I'm saying? We'll go do business with other people outside our race. You see what I'm saying? But it's like when it come to us, like if I'm promoting something to somebody, like yeah, I got my nephew. You know, my nephew make hats, right? So you promote stuff like that to other people, man. You know, they kind of just shoot it down. You feel what I'm saying? But if I'm like, yeah, I got this white man. You know, he got a new store opening up. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he put a price on something. You know, we look at the price and we think it's worth everything in the world. You see what I'm saying? And we'll go buy it, but we won't do that with our own people. It's just like we just don't know how to do business with each other.
I agree. I agree. And that all goes back into ego and jealousy. Because if we both from the same block and I see you making more money than me, but we both outside, I'm gonna tell people, yo, don't go cop from him, cop from me. It's a self-hatred thing.
Hmm.
And this is why I say we have to heal before we build, because we have to rebuild the trust for one another.
Fact.
A lot of us don't go into business with each other because we think somebody gonna take something from us, or if you don't think he's gonna take it, you may think he may be plotting on somebody else to come take it for him.
That's
This is the
facts.
way we just think so wicked towards each other. Like we get money together, and I may have made more money than my homeboy today. So I buy a new pair of kicks or something. He hating at the fact that I bought a new pair of kicks. This is on the lowest level. So imagine if we trying to actually create business. We talking about on the street level. You know, you made a few more dollars than him today. You know, he got to work an extra few more hours on the block to get his money up. So now he mad at you. Now he mad at you for the day. Or he might hold resentment against you from that day on for the rest of your life. And one day, something happened to you and come to find out, he was the reason you got killed. Because that one day, when he thought you was styling on him, because you made more money than him on the block. It goes that deep. That this dude will hold resentment and get your life taken from you. All because of his ego. This is why I say, man, that ego, man, it's if it's not directed in the right way, it's only destructive to us. And like I said, it keeps us stagnant. Because like you said, your nephew may has. But since they're not in a store that someone else own, not even your nephew, because this would be crazy. We open up our own stores in the neighborhood, and our businesses be the first to close down before anyone's. Because they'll walk past your store going to Levi's store. You
That's
sell
facts.
Levi's though. You selling Levi's in your store, but they gonna go to the Levi's store. Oh, his Levi's fake. I'm going to the Levi's store.
Yeah.
You don't even know that Levi where they manufacture their stuff. We don't understand this stuff. Like, for instance, Stephon Marbury came out with his sneakers, made them $20. People was like, I'm not buying the Stephon Marburys. And even I said that.
Because we
Being a
stuck on
foot,
prices.
right. Not even just the prices, bro. Because they were Stephon Marburys and not Jordans.
Okay, got you.
You see what I'm saying? That type of mindset.
Right.
Because who sponsors Jordan? Phil Knight, a white man. Nike, Phil Knight. But guess what I found out? And this one made me feel stupid. The same factory they make Jordans in, they make Stephon Marburys.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. The same factories in China. They're made in the same exact factories as Jordans. But you quick to spend $250 when you could spend 10% of that. $25. That shows the mindset of our people. This man made a sneaker for $20 and we didn't buy it. A black man. But because this black man has corporate sponsorship through Nike, and Nike makes black people feel good about themselves, you go buy the 250 sneakers. That's a
That's
mental,
facts.
that's a crazy mindset to have. To not
I
feel
got a
like, go ahead, bro.
I got a question. I mean, how do you think we got that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we get that mind? How do we get to that mind state?
I honestly think, I definitely think slavery plays a part. Definitely. Because through slavery, a lot of our thought patterns were passed down through generations. That thought pattern of feeling defeated all the time, feeling like we must surrender, and not fight. But I also think we can look at slavery from a different aspect and look at it from the people who rebelled. and internalize that type of energy, like the Nat Turners, like the Dessalines, you know, that type of energy, meaning we can overcome this. We don't have to follow that way. We can go our own way. We can support one another. We can uplift one another. Use that energy instead of using the slave energy who's just being whipped and hung and being, you know, castrated and embarrassed in front of their families. Like, let's stop vibrating on that energy and let's vibrate more on the Nat Turner energy, the Colin Kaepernick energy. You know, I feel like that's how we can get over that. But I definitely think the slavery thing plays a big thing. You know, it plays a major part. You know, because we're still vibrating on that low frequency as a slave. That's why we continue to have the slave mind.
I got another question for you. I got another question. So why do we beat each other up when we I'm gonna take Malcolm X for example. Like he was speaking up for black people, but black people didn't want to stand on his side until he was dead. Like why do we beat up on each other, beat up on our leaders that's trying to help us? That's something that I don't get either. Don't make sense.
Because it's almost like I think it's because they think we can take it. You know, if a person is weak and they see strength in you, they're gonna keep pulling from your strength to make them feel strong. That's why I think we latch ourselves on to these leaders and we beat them down because it's like, oh, he has the intelligence. Oh, he has the willpower. Because if he didn't, he wouldn't have stood up and took that place. So let's grab on to him and let's do what we can to suck him dry. It's like vampirism, energy vampires. I don't think people purposely know that they're doing it.
Okay, got you.
You know, I think it's just more of, yo, this guy's strong, man. Why, why is he speaking like this? I wish I could speak like this. You know, not going up to the man and asking him, how can I become something like this? How can I become a motivational speaker? What requirements comes with being a leader? See, we're not doing that type of progressive thinking. We're just trying to suck each other dry. That's all it is. We leech onto our leaders and suck them dry, man. And then leave them out to the CIA to get them or the
Right.
FBI to get them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, right.
You feel me?
It seemed like that happens every time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Kaepernick situation. Seemed like people like, well, I'll roll with him, but then I don't want to roll with him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Cause it's like we just scared to fight. You know what I'm saying? It's like I
Right.
don't know, man. It's like we still scared of white people. You feel me? Man, they
Man,
scared of us. They scared of us, and we ain't gotta say nothing. We can just come around, and they scared of us.
man.
So I'm like, what? I'm like, what, I mean, what's the problem? Everybody that comes over here in this country, man, they want to be like black people. They want to walk like us, dance like us, sing like us, but then hate us at the same time. That's crazy. That don't make sense to me. Dress like us, take our hairstyles. But hate us at the same time. They just I don't get it, man. It's fucked up out here.
You know, but you know why that could work, bro? That could work because we hate ourselves.
Yeah,
We
that's
don't
true.
stand up for ourselves.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
don't take advantage of what we have. This is what I was saying earlier about the people who standing on their premise. Get with like-minded people and create something, because then what that'll do to other people and other cultures of people, it'll make them have to examine your philosophy and how it created this. How did the Koreans take over the goddamn hair industry? How? How did this happen? How did this happen? Because we didn't take advantage of it.
That's right.
And we need to start taking advantage of it. But we don't see the importance in creating things and keeping it for ourselves. We don't see the importance of it. You know, a lot of these young girls, they've been putting color in their hair. That's something creative that all women do at one point in their life. Dye their hair, cut their hair. And these foreigners was watching this stuff.
Yeah. They
Twerking,
They study.
yeah, twerking comes from Africa. African women, that's a spiritual dance. Now look, they got twerking classes for white women, Chinese women. Belly dancing, that's a spiritual dance. Now they have classes for it. Now they got pole dancing classes. Because we're not making our philosophies and making it practical, putting it into practice and creating a culture behind it. This is how the culture vulture has always been created, because we're not taking advantage of our own culture. So somebody that's sitting back watching, like, wow, if I make 1,000,000 wigs lime green, wow, you know how much money I can make? But imagine if these young girls grew up and had that mindset at 12 years old to begin to own their culture, to create businesses behind their culture and their look. Imagine if their mothers had that mindset. Or just imagine that. Then we wouldn't have none of these issues.
That's right.
But we letting these philosophies, we letting it stagnate us. And we just living in our heads, you know, mentally masturbating. Oh, I'm smarter than you. Oh, I read more books than you. You can't tell me I'm wrong. Cause in my book, it talked about 1716 and like, dude, and all right, cool. What's next? We talking about pyramids, but you live in the projects. Cut it out. Cut it out.
From pyramids to projects, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a DVD out there about that, a double set DVD. I had it back in the day.
Yeah, y'all. Wow. Hey, listen. You brothers, you know, are hitting the hammer right on the nail, and I'm just sitting back listening. Yes, brother DS1. Peace to the brother, the great mind, King God, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Yes, we definitely need to stop all this, not stop the talking, but add the walking. And wow, you know, where do we start? We start with ourselves, okay? A brother like yourself, for example, and getting the people that believe in whatever it is you pushing, getting 5, 10 people with you that's hard-bodied, working, okay, getting a team and demonstrating to us what you could build. And maybe if I do the same thing, maybe we will inspire other individuals to get some work done. If I can turn on my camera and show you, pardon me, show myself in the neighborhood, you know, y'all knew me from doing this, and then next thing I do, I turn my camera on and boom, I'm right here in the streets making moves. Then you'd be like, damn, the brother took the show on the road. So yes, we need walking. We've been doing a lot of talking. You know, I think I'm at a lot of videos myself, so I know I'm talking myself even now. So I agree with you, my brother. So yes, sir, we need to talk. And in terms of the community, the whole community is not going to come together right now. When we had that opportunity to come together, the head, and you were the head by default, brother Sinetta. By default, you became the head. And when you didn't allow us to come together by keeping your team together, and not only that, but making the house of consciousness elite. You know, like, okay, this is the house of consciousness, all that other shit is y'all. That right there split us up into where we at right now. Now, it's not all bad now. Everybody's doing their own thing, so that's good. But what's going to kind of like bring us to some type of a united nation or some type of round table of discussion, a conference where not the House of Conscious conference, but the Conscious Community Conference, or some type of getting together. I don't know what's going to bring that together. That's a whole nother level. But we got to start individually. I have to start with me in 2018. I have to show what I can do by form shit, a LLC, right? I got to form that that human being, or that false identity that everybody operating the world with. You know, it's a real identity now. People are operating with companies now. So I need to start me a company, and I need to get boots on the ground. I had boots, but it was a whole nother type of way. And when I was forming this new thing, I started with a group of individuals who allowed jealousy and envy and the slave, excuse me, not the slave mentality, worse than the slave mentality. Because the slave was someone who was made into that. They were stripped of everything, even their own name, no language, no history. You don't know your mama, you don't know your brother. You don't, I mean, at a certain point, you didn't know nobody. It was just you on a goddamn plantation with the rest of the slaves. Okay? So we weren't even in our right mind. We had no mind. That's why the saying goes, when the master say he's sick, the slave says, we sick, master? Because the slave wasn't even in his own mind. If the master was sick, the slave had to ask the question, you know, am I sick too? Is we sick? Okay? So we got to start off with that. That's why Brother DS1 Raw says we got to heal before we build. And I'm starting to really understand what you said, G. Because even me, when I first started my journey, I started off as a fruit of Islam. Well, before then, I was in a group home, okay? I was in a group home, but that was part of my rebirth, my healing, because I went to a group home with a brother, a black man, owning his own business, going to college, working jobs, getting money the legal way. So that elevated my mind right there, because I went from the hood, where the drug dealer was my role model because he had the white Benz coming through with the beat, breaking your damn windows, or you thought your windows was gonna break because they were shaking so goddamn hard, right? So I went from that was my role model, you know, the dudes who I grew up, my superheroes in the hood, okay, to going to this group home, seeing a brother going to college, operating a group home, working a job at the school, multitasking, owning a goddamn apartment complex. The brother's a bad man. Bad man. So that was my beginning of realizing that, oh, I can be something. I can actually do something. And so then my ambition started to grow. So these children in the hood, the first thing they got to realize is they can be something in life. But nobody never told them they could be something. Nobody never told them they were special, because their own parents may be talking down to them. degrading them, telling them, you remind me of your father. Because I'm sorry, dear ladies, you know I love you. I'm not getting on the ladies. I'm just saying, sometimes in the hood, we use our children as punching bags, and we beat their brains in to the point where we damage them. And so when they walk outside as a damaged good, the hood is going to damage them even more. And the hood don't give a damn about none of us at a certain point. Because if you find yourself out there as a sheep that sleep, you'll find yourself posted wherever the shepherd guides you to. So it's real deep. And as the brother says, yes, slavery. But the slavery thing was stripping us of everything. So the first thing we got to do is start getting something in the side of our head. Some of us got good teaching. Some of us came from a good grandfather, a good father, a good moms. And when I say good, I'm saying somebody who knew something. My mom was the average victim of the ghetto, but she was a good person. So even in her worst state, she wasn't a thief. But nowadays, that's the order of the day. If you ain't scamming a credit card, you ain't on your game. If you ain't trying to get over, you slipping. So a lot of these children are being guided into the gas chamber, starting right inside of our homes. And then by the time the school system get them, they try for a minute, but we already know it's a system. They only go try for a minute before they say, you know what, this person needs some Ritalin. So before you know it, your child is drugged up. Another victim of society, going into the youth guidance center, then pipeline to prison. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So we got to start in the household. We got to heal in the household. You brothers like UDS1 who work with the youth, you got a rough job. Because everything you teach a youth may get challenged right inside their home. You telling the youth, man, you need to do your homework because you want to stay up on top of your game. But inside the household, ain't nobody enforcing do your homework. You tell the youth, hey, man, you don't need to sell no drugs, man. Get an honest living, man. Even if you got to go wash windows at the car wash or the gas station or, you know, cut some line. But then as soon as he go home, his cousin trying to put a bag of dope in his hand and coming home saying, nigga, I just made $600. You go be broke or you go roll with me? So right inside the household, it's crazy. But we got to start somewhere, y'all. So we got to start with ourselves. And that's all we can do right now. Start with ourselves, build from self, get your thing going, and hopefully you will inspire somebody else. And then if you get enough money to where you can do something for somebody else, then you'll become a blessing to the outer community, because now you could pass out some backpacks. Now you can take people on. Now you can take them out of the hood and show them a college campus that they may go to one day. But without no money, we can't get the honey, right? So yeah, we gotta get some bread. So I hear you, brother DS1, going into 2018. If we go do this talking, we got to do more walking. That's real. But the conscious community, as they call it, I don't know what's going to organize them or us, because right now, once the top of the head did what he did, and we all out here now is the Wild Wild West, and all these egos is just going wild. Yeah, we got philosophies, we got knowledge. We done read 20 books last week. But we didn't work on our character last week. And we still ain't working on our character this week. So I don't give a damn how many books you read. if you ain't working on your character as a human being and as a decent soul, that don't mean nothing how many books you read. So that's where we at right now. A bunch of educated, philosophizing individuals that ain't built nothing. And we're going into 2018. And if we go build something, you got to start with yourself, brother. Because right now, we ain't gonna do it collectively, but you can organize a few good men and a few good women, and y'all can do something. And then maybe what you do will inspire me. Or maybe if I go out there and organize a few good men, a few good women of like mind and present it to y'all, maybe it will inspire you. So we got to start with ourselves, family. We got to start right here with ourselves. Cash your buckets, right where we stand. I believe that's what Booker T. Washington said. So, you know, it was great, brother. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for being you. Keep shining, keep grinding, but you got to do it, my brother. And when you present what you're doing, it will send ripple effects, and it will inspire somebody. I know it will inspire me because you already inspire me, brother, just with your words. So imagine when you present what you do, that's just more inspiration on top of inspiration to the great mind of the DS1. Peace, peace, God.
That's love right there, fam. I love the words, man. That's love right there, man. That's what we need right there.
Hey, thank you, bro. I didn't get your name, brother, but I love that hat. I was checking that hat out, and your nephew making them hats, man. Make sure you drop that link or let us know how y'all do that.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. You can go on my Instagram. I put my Instagram on my in the chat, man. So y'all go on my Instagram. My page is not private, so you can just go on there and follow me, man. And I got my link. My nephew's link is on my page, so you can go check him out, man. And you know, like my man said, man, we gotta support each other. You know what I'm saying? Gotta support each other, man. We ain't got nobody but us. You feel what I'm saying? We ain't got nobody but us, man. Straight up.
For sure, for sure. So good looking, y'all, man. Good looking for y'all brothers for coming through tonight and you know, sharing y'all perspectives on the topic. I definitely agree with both of y'all brothers. I love the fact that, you know, y'all very passionate about this subject. You know, y'all brothers a good character, I already know. So y'all always welcomed on a platform to speak and everything. And you know, shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm getting ready to close out, and I'm gonna close out on, like I said earlier, let's become more practical. You know, our children want to see stuff. We have to make it plain for them to see. So let's start with that, man. And we have to understand too, it's not an overnight process. It's not. But let's get up and let's work at it every day. You know, let's start to build for ourselves, because a lot of us who have the regular 9-to-5 jobs, we're building a life for another family. We're building someone else's legacy. So just like that's important, let's make our legacy just as important, if not even more important. You know, because I'm not telling people how to think. That's why we advise the sheep to stay asleep. Because if that's what you want to do, hey, to each his own. But let's start working on our legacy as a people. And let's start doing better things for ourselves, if that's what we want to do. All right. So on that note, shout out to my brothers Black Worlds. Shout out to my brother Megalodon. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to all my mods in the chat. You know, good looking for coming through, staying up with me. I'm your host, DS1 Ross. You just tuned in to Sheep Stay Sleep TV. If you haven't, hit the like button, share the show, subscribe if you like what you heard. Sheep Stay Sleep, wise ones awoke. Y'all have a good day. Stay safe.
Peace,
Peace
God.
out. Peace out.
Yeah.